up, what up? Alright. Just want to hop on the stream here for a bit. Got some after hours going on. Outlook is a problem, man. I don't know what's going on with Outlook. Alright, we're doing some phishing creation tonight. Or anti-phishing. I don't know if phishing's a bad word, who knows. But we gotta pump out some phishing emails for some clients. Before we do that, just recording some like some content for the tube. Just trying to get this channel restarted back up. I got some interesting things coming, I think. All right. I'll dive into the sand stuff a little bit. All right. What's up, Kane? What's up, Josiah? Hope y'all doing good. Some Wednesday after hours right now. Busy with some cyber stuff. Just doing some, yeah, that's a sound diffuser. Yeah, it's, I made it out of a bunch of wood. I got some engineers in the family that helped me put it together, but yeah, it's 128 pieces. Yeah, it's been good, man. Just busy week. Cyber's been a little bit crazy with US-Iran stuff. It's definitely an uptick in phishing emails coming through, so I've been kind of going through a lot of that stuff, reporting, doing some threat intelligence. But back to the wall, though. That's a sound diffuser, 128 pieces, I think. Just chopped them up. Took the blowtorch out. Mounted it. It's been up there for a couple years, so hopefully it doesn't fall on me. But it's pretty sturdy. I used to be a audio engineer, so you know, before this was a layer to learn cyber. Used to make beats and record a bunch of people. I recorded some orchestras. I've done some live recording for choirs, different musicians. What are we talking about in here? Just whatever you want to talk about. But I'm just kind of doing some cyber stuff. But yeah, but back to the audio engineering stuff. I've done opera singers, rappers, bands, mostly in like the pop, like indie kind of realm. Those are fun times, but doesn't really always pay the bills. So, you know, sometimes you just gotta level up a little bit. And cyber seems to be the way for now. I'm not quite there, but I do okay. I'm not quite there though. I'm on my way. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. All right, what is this right here? I'm a GRC analyst, so anything cyber, governance, risk, and compliance. So right now, I go through phishing emails as people report them for the company I work for, and I'm also taking on some like clients, just doing some like cyber awareness and education for them, mainly like churches, nonprofits. Just trying to help them out because stuff's getting pretty bad out there with cyber threats and stuff, and churches and nonprofits, small businesses are like big targets because it only takes like one click, so it's like so easy, you know, and they'll pay for sure. You know, it's kind of weird, right? Because you think like a big business would usually pay, but you know, usually those big businesses, you know, if they're worth like 6 billion plus, they're holding on to their money and they're going to a company to try to help them figure out what kind of went wrong with malware or whatever nastiness they got themselves into. But small businesses will pay just to solve the issue, and you know, extortion is not great. So usually it continues, unfortunately. So then small businesses, they just get caught in this like circle of being extorted constantly. So it's my job to kind of help them out and make sure they don't get robbed. Because small businesses, it only takes them losing like 5%, or still, you know, kind of their profits dip in 5% for them to kind of go under. It's you know, they're operating on slim margins, and I like to see small businesses grow, you know, or at least survive. I think we all kind of maybe saw in 2020 when a lot of small businesses went under, and that was pretty sad. I didn't like that. Oh, we got some news here. So the FBI actually came out today warning of voicemail and text deepfakes impersonating government officials. So that's kind of interesting. You know, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm putting together just some like shorts, some like faceless shorts, but I'm starting to record more with me in them, just kind of explaining different concepts. You know, just so that I can get better at presenting topics too, right? Because for work and you know, some of the client stuff I'm doing on the side, I gotta present, right? So, you know, I gotta know my shit, or, you know what I'm talking about. And it's just like good practice, right? Just to take what's up here and kind of let it spew out to the world for a bit. Right now, I'm designing some phishing emails. Or I should say anti-phishing. I feel weird saying phishing emails because it's like illegal. But this is completely legal what I'm doing, right? Because I'm helping to protect an organization. So, but you do have to think a little bit like threat actors. So it's kind of interesting because you got to think about what people are going to be using on a daily basis at work or in their environment, you know, and just tweak it, you know, just see how you can kind of create a facade of like, hey, you know, maybe you need to reset your password, maybe you need to, you know, maybe there's an invoice that came through from a company you're doing business with, right? Like I've got to try to impersonate them and figure out, you know, how I can be sneaky in that way just to test folks, right? Make sure that, you know, what I'm teaching them, that they're putting it into practice, you know, they're looking at the like the actual email it's coming from. Does that email look credible or off a little bit? What's the title? Is this email does this have a call to action? Is there like a sense of urgency for you to click something? You know, if it doesn't feel right, you know, I always urge people to just like report it, you know. And then I get to look at it and I get to analyze it. And yeah, sometimes you find some crazy stuff. Especially when you get like the extortion emails too, and it's like this person definitely doesn't have access to this business or whoever's email, but they're just emailing them being like, I got pictures, I got blah blah blah, give me money. And you're like, yeah, this person is just crashing out and they don't have access to shit. But you've gotta be able to decipher that because it could be real, yeah, but you know, majority of the time they're just trying to get people to pay and make a quick dollar. Oh yeah, and have this, you know, the victim kind of freak out, right? But let me see here. What do you do, Kane? Let me see. There's this stuff right here. Man, Sans just released some information. I always encourage folks to get into cyber. It's just good to like know basic stuff. And hey, we're gonna need more cyber professionals by 2030. So in 5 years. Oh, you're in your VR headset. Nice. That's dope. I don't have one, but I heard it's pretty fun. What are you playing in there? Yeah, I assumed it was your friends. Yeah, my mind didn't go there, so. Where is this going to? All right, so key takeaways from the AI guidelines, security guidelines. I don't know about AI and cybersecurity. Oh, Gorilla Tag, nice, nice. Yeah, I might ask for a VR headset for Christmas. We'll kind of see. Maybe if I behave myself, make the nice list this year. I can get a VR headset. Which one do you have? Let me see. Why is this taking so long? My internet must be a little bit off right now. The 2, okay. Yeah, I think I might try to get one maybe in like end of the year once there's some deals. Once there's some deals. Be interesting. Yeah, I think I had a buddy that actually oh, the same one that he has. I I worked with a guy that would have his work set up through VR. And he liked it a lot. I don't know how functional it was for him, but it seemed like he enjoyed it and he was efficient. He was good at his job, so oh man, I gotta go see Happy Gilmore. I haven't gotten to see that yet. All right. I'm gonna put together this email, this phishing email, to test some folks. I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna send an outage notification, just letting them know that there might be interrupted services to their account, and that's why they're receiving this message. And so current and outgoing updates or messages can be found in this link. They click the link and then they go to a page and it'll be like, hey, don't click on links, you know, you should verify with someone else on your team or something like that if there's an outage or if they got the email or whatnot, or report it. And I'll put some stuff in here about, just to add credibility, I might even put like potential business impact, just so it's like, I won't reference specific parts of the business, but I don't want to make it too hard. That's the thing with anti-phishing, is that you don't want to make it too hard. You want to train folks and ramp up the difficulty so that they're learning and they're being able to identify things as they kind of go along. But that's the hard part, because these folks are usually working, so they could be coming out of like a meeting and get my email, and then it's just like they click the link and then I gotta give them some training, you know, which isn't bad. I like designing the training, and I like when people ask questions, you know. I don't like to shame people. I'm kind of being a little bit It's after hours. I'm tired, so I'm being a little bit spicy right now about it. But um, yeah, I like when people ask questions and they want to learn about cyber and how to be safe and what to look for, especially with like phishing, because that's the number one way someone's gonna get into your system, you know. All right, this one's gonna be. I might even add a company logo to this. Although I feel like, yeah, let me add a company logo. I wanna. Just people get so angry when you like add, when you get too close to things. It's or like when it looks too real, but people are committing crime. They don't care. They're gonna want to. They're using AI that's gonna actually make it seem as real as possible. Um, and I've been spoofed tons of times at work too, due to like the nature of my position and all that stuff. And it's interesting when people bring emails to you that you haven't sent, or emails of you asking things that you haven't asked, and you're like, that's interesting, but also check where it came from. That's not my work email. So, and please don't keep forwarding this email because it's not. Yeah, because it's not gonna do us any good. Right. But creating the phishing emails is kind of like the most creative part, though. That's the one thing about this that I like, is like gives me a little creativity back in my life, rather than the back in my audio engineering and music production days, which I kind of don't really miss, because man, I've had so many stories with like people in a studio and just not wanting to pay, or they get nervous and they can't perform, and you gotta talk them through it, which is fine, but sometimes it's like, you just want the session to go smoothly, right? You just want to set up the mic, set up whatever they need, make sure, the recording board, or console is good to go, the computer, your system's working, and then boom, hours later, you've got a record, or a part of a record, or whatever was intended. Actually, I like recording audiobooks because that it's not the easiest, but typically just getting someone to read something back is easier. It's just there's some tedious work in the back end of editing, um, but typically those go pretty well. I've recorded a few like audiobooks, or books to or trainings for folks. Those are fun. But I recorded Prince's drummer Sheila E. one time. This was after Prince passed, though. But yeah, that was quite an interesting session, because she was awesome, actually. She was very cool, eccentric, as you would think, being Prince's drummer. But yeah, she had candles everywhere. We had to, yeah, lighting was perfect. And I get it. She's a vibe person, right? Like, she's the drummer. She's also like pretty big part of a band. She had her own band and was cutting her own record for that recording session. But yeah, I wasn't told before who it was. There's been a couple times where I've had to record individuals without knowing who they were prior. I was pretty surprised. Some NFL players, some NBA players, which I get because you don't want to kind of say something and then they don't really know me, so they don't want to have a situation where they book a session, they've identified themselves, I look them up or something, and or know who they are already, and then other people show up to the session, right? They don't want to be like ambushed or feel unsafe or, you know, not that that would happen, but it can, you know. We live in kind of an interesting world, but this is I think this is almost done here. June. Make this one for June. No, let's do July. And do admins. This will be for IT admins and system admins. I'm a Packer fan. Yeah, I'm a Packer fan. I guess my like other default team would be probably the Dolphins. Yeah, I would say Packers and then default Dolphins. And it's okay if you judge me, that's cool. I kind of don't really have a choice but to be a cheesehead, so it's kind of a necessity in our in my household at the moment. Eagles. Nice. Nice, yeah. The Eagles fans, you guys know how to party. I've seen evidence in videos. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah, I've been to Eagles. I've been to Eagle Land once or twice. Not to the stadium, but just like around the area. IT admins and then enterprise. Yeah, that should just be for the IT admins. Regular employees might not know what I'm talking about. They might just be like, what is this email? Yeah, man. I'd love to produce music again. The Eagles versus Vita. No, I haven't seen. I think you're asking about NFL games. The only NFL games I've been to a Packer games. I went to a Falcons game down in Georgia. What else? A Dolphins game. And a 49ers game. I almost went to a Giants game one time, but that didn't quite work out. Oh yeah, I've been to a Jets game too. Yeah, that's the thing, man, is like, yeah, it was, I bet it was cold. The Packer game I went to, the last one I went to, I should say, it was snowing, and it was it Thanksgiving, or was it around Thanksgiving? Yeah, hot hands come in handy. I honestly I just had a couple beers and some hot food and yeah, hand warmers, and I was pretty good to go. I had like a ton of layers on though. I didn't have any hot feet. My toes were so cold though. It was rough. It was rough. All right. What is this? Oh. I'm gonna do one more and then call it a night. It's pretty late and I gotta get up early, hit the gym. Yeah, it's always fun when you win, right? Because I mean, what else would you be waiting there for, right? Yeah, it's always good when you win, man. Especially you Eagles fans. Walgreens, nope. What is this right here? What type of music do you like, man? Kane? Um, hmm. Yeah, yeah, man. Those were some pretty big losses for, I think, music. I think they would be. I mean, they're both superstars for sure. You know, when they pass, but I would imagine where they would be at right now, it would be unprecedented. You know, but there's definitely, you can definitely see um, their music still imprinted on like artists and stuff, which I think is pretty cool. I know X, his sound. I was pretty heavy in audio engineering and recording at different studios and stuff when he was kind of just coming out, but at the same time, a lot of artists were coming to me wanting that sound. And his sound was, it's so interesting because in like audio engineering school, it's like what his sound was is like literally what they tell you, just like kind of not to do. But even at that time in music, like Mike Dean with the like distortion, like it was just like push, like everything was just being pushed, and it was like the loudness war too, with like kind of the finished product and my mastering. But um yeah, I remember I had a lot of like artists being like, yeah, I want to sound like X and all that stuff, and I thought it was a cool sound. It was just like listening to it and being trained a certain way. I was like, I know what they, like polished artists want. Not that X wasn't a polished artist. He was definitely in his own lane, but it was quite interesting how a lot of people were attracted to that, and it just kind of spoke to like, what he was pretty much meant to do on Earth. It was pretty dope. And then Juice World, that was kind of crazy how he went out too. This stuff's mysterious, man. When like you got like artists, I'm not saying anything against them, but I'm just saying like artists, there's stuff going on, with like some illicit stuff, and then you got, I think there was like some money maybe on the jet that he was on, and some other stuff. Yeah, that stuff's, yeah, the music industry is kind of interesting in that way. Um, yeah, I've seen some things that are pretty sketchy. I just stuck to my boundaries. I had to really be like solid in like my boundaries. Yeah, that's a good song. That's a dope song. So that's right here. I I think Lil Man J, Country Sippin's gonna be a big song. It's, I mean, it's pop, it's post Maloney, but I think he's just an interesting person. Like dude has like four disabilities. Not saying that's like a positive or negative, but it's like I remember seeing him doing videos a couple years ago, and it was cool, but I think him doing some like country, Tekka, yeah, Tekka is dope too. Yeah, Red Veil, I think that's how you say it. He's pretty good too. He's got some family from where I'm from. Yeah, Sunflower. I like Sunflower. All right, I'm about to hop off of here. All right, man. Enjoy your VI or VR VI. I'm so tired. VR excursion, and games and stuff. right, man. Bless up. I'll see you soon.